Hi, welcome to the Online Jewelry Academy. I'm Professor John R. and I'm your instructor. In this video, I want to teach you a little bit about how to work with an artistic inspiration with a really fun technique. But before I do that, I want to remind you guys that the OJA releases a new video every weekend. If you want to be one of the first to see that video, just click on the button in the lower right-hand corner of your screen and subscribe. And if you like these videos and want to support the production of future videos, remember that you can support us on patreon.com. We also post to Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Okay, let's get started. This is an Anticlastic forged or raised bracelet that has a water theme to it. Now, I know that sometimes you guys as designers, you struggle with how to incorporate your inspirations into the wearables that you're making. So I wanted to give you a little bit of an idea of how to do that with this fun technique. Now, the OJA has another Anticlastic video that utilizes this tool that we've made. So both the construction of the tool and the construction of an Anticlastic hairpin are already posted to our playlist. In this one, I wanted to be a little bit more playful with it so that you could have some fun and feel free to experiment with this great technique. Okay, so how did I start with this idea? Well, I knew that I needed to have about a 6-inch length of material in order to construct a bracelet that would be wearable by most people. So I decided I wanted to deal with the theme of water, and so I drew a puddle that fit that requirement of length. And I played with elements that extended a little bit so that I would have something to monkey around with as I made the bracelet. So that image got transferred to a piece of sheet metal, which I then cut out. And you'll notice that as I cut it out, I experimented and played with the motion and the movement of each of the curves. You're an artist, explore, have fun. Okay, so the next thing that I wanted to do was, I thought, what is my most joyful moment with water? And for some reason, I love looking at the reflections of light as they move and undulate under the water in a swimming pool. So I added those types of lines to the blank before I began. Now, the way that I did this was really easy and something that you can accomplish in no time at all. What I did is I laid my blank down on a striking surface, and I took a piece of binding wire and I put a variety of different bends into that binding wire. Then I just snipped it off, and of course, working safely with eye protection, I applied this curved piece of wire to my blank and I secured it using some artist's tape. So this is a removable vinyl artist's tape. And what I made sure to do is I used enough tape to completely cover the wire. Now, to make sure that I got a consistent impression on the whole thing, what you do is as you strike your piece, you can see how the wire breaks through the top of the tape. When it breaks through the top of the tape, stop hitting. You've probably made enough of an impression. Let's take a look. Yep, sure enough. And see, it's a very consistent line. So I made those lines on this piece, and then I re-annealed it so that the piece is very malleable and ready to work with. Next, I take the piece to my sinusoidal stake that we made here on the OJA. This is a hardwood stake, pretty easy to make. It's going to take a little time though. And then what I wanted to do was give this the initial bends that I need in order to start forming it into a bracelet. Now, you're going to need to use a wedge-shaped mallet. And the first thing that you want to do is you want to treat the ends that extend out a little bit. We want to give these just a little bit of a slight bending. And you see that this metal, like I said, it's much thinner than the example that I showed you at the beginning of the video. That one's a 20 gauge sheet. This is 22. So it's a little lighter and much easier to work with. So we're just going to slide this back and forth through our stake, and I'm just going to initiate bends along the sides. Now you can come in as far as you want. Most people just try to do just the initial bend just to the edge, but this has an odd shape. So once we get these initial side bends done, then what I want to do is I want to come in and strike down the middle to create like a center trough. So I'll just place the piece at one end, and I'm not trying to give it a curve yet. I just want to give it a little bit of a rounded shape by just striking right down the middle. And to get that other end, just turn it around. There we go. So now you can see I have a piece that's just cupped the whole way down. Now I want to try to give it this perfect letter C shape, because that's a wearable cuff. So what we're going to do is I'm going to place the piece back on the stake, and as I hit on the top, I kind of want to bring the piece forward down the front side and hit over here in order to help it to create a complex curve. It's still going to curve this way, and then it's going to start to curve down. Watch. So as you do this, you're just pushing the metal forward, and you're going to go back and forth in order to give it a bit of a curved shape. Now this will take you a little bit of time. Don't over anneal your piece. Keep working with it until you can't work with it anymore, and then anneal it. Otherwise it'll be easy to deform. Okay, so give me a few minutes and let me see what I can do with this shape. So we've gotten this far just giving it an initial bend over the top. So it's taking on that very Pringles potato chip complex curve sort of shape. You just need to work a little bit more to bring the ends around. Remember, these are the parts that need to curve first. Like anything, you want to try to curve the ends before you curve the center. The center just needs a slight break. Okay, so let's keep going. Okay, so I have a capital letter C shape, and that's exactly what I want to go for. But if I put the piece down, you can see that the walls are really straight compared to this one. So let me show you how I got these unusual sort of overlapping bends. It's really easy. Now, one of the things that you can do is you can come back to the stake, and you could just take part of the bracelet from the side and just start to work it over. So you kind of force it down on itself to overlap. Now this one's kind of wide, so what I could opt for would be to just come over one of the humps, and I can actually just continue that over the hump. What you're going to find while you work on this is that you're going to basically be hitting it a lot, but it's fun. And you'll find different spots of your tool will give you basically different opportunities for forming. Okay, so let's take a look at that now. So you can see where this now is starting to come over the top a little bit. And in the same way, you can do these other more pokey aspects on the other side. You may need to work it several times in order to get a really dramatic overflow like I have on here, but it's going to be super rewarding when you finish. Now, the way that you finish this piece is, in order to get it to have a beautiful shine like this one here, all I need to do is drop it into the tumbler. And guess what? The OJA has a video on how to use your tumbler. Now, I would recommend anywhere from 10 minutes to 2 hours on the tumbler. After 2 hours, you don't really get any shinier than that. And what it will do is Since you're using a lighter gauge metal, perhaps, the 22 like this one, tumbling will actually work harden the bracelet and make it nice and stiff so that it will maintain its shape. I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember, there are plenty more like it on the OJA's playlist, which you can find either here on YouTube or on our website at onlinejewelryacademy.com. Thanks for watching.